Today is Thursday, Parashat Vayetze. Parashat of this week begins with Vayetze Yaakov mi Beer Sheva, and Yaakov departed. He left Beer Sheva, Vayelech Harana, and he went toward Haran. And Rashi asks a question. It would have been sufficient for the pasuk to just tell us Vayelech Yaakov Harana. Yaakov went towards Haran. And by the way, already last week's parasha, it says already, Vayishlach Yitzchak et Yaakov, Vayelech Padena Aram. So we know already that he was on the way there. Why does the pasuk need to mention that he departed from the city of Beer Sheva? And Rashi explains, so why does it mention that he left, he departed from Beer Sheva? But this comes to tell us, when a righteous person leaves a place, oseh roshem, it leaves a mark. It makes, there is an impression, there is something that is missing after he's no longer there. It's not just something that is not noticeable. It's something that has an impact. Shebizman she'atzadik ba'ir, when the tzaddik, when the righteous person is in the city, then, as long as he lives there, then the Rashi explains, Hu hoda, hu ziva, hu hadara. That tzaddik, the righteous person in the city, it's the city's glory, it's the city's splendor, it's the city's beauty. And when he left, Yatsa misham, pana hoda, pana ziva, pana hadara. And when he departed from there, then its glory, its splendor, its beauty also departs with him. And this explanation of Rashi really indicates the importance of a person of stature, of righteousness in a place, has a sphere of influence, of splendor, of glory that emanates from him and sort of like protects the city around him, brings importance to the city. It's the glory of the city. And even though in the case of Yaakov, Yitzchak and Rivka still lived there, but Yaakov was Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. He was a person that was dwelling in the tent of Torah. He was learning Torah all the time. He was a person that was dedicated to spirituality. His presence in the city brought a certain aura to that place. And this is applicable also nowadays. Of course, we don't consider ourselves that we would be reaching the level of Yaakov Avinu, but yet, any place where there is Torah that is learned, when a community has a kollel where there are 10 avrechim learning Torah, it brings a certain amount of spiritual dimension to that city that is something that benefits the whole community. A synagogue that has in it classes of Torah, those classes of Torah shine a light into that community that can bring an aura of glory, of beauty, and of protection to the place. So yes, even though a person can be in his tent of Torah, he could be learning in the Bet Midrash and not making much noise, whether it's on the news or anywhere that would be noticeable, still, just by the fact that he's learning or that group is learning Torah, it brings a certain amount of brightness, of light, of protection, of beauty, of glory, of splendor to that place that serves very positively that place. And that's what the Rashi tells us, the pasuk, when it says Vayetze Yaakov mi Beer Sheva vayelech Haran. Of course, we know that if he went to Haran, he would have left Beer Sheva. But to tell us that when such a righteous person leaves a place, it has an impact. And therefore, we should value very much when we have people amongst us who are dedicated to learning Torah, who are dedicated to being the righteous people, dedicated to following the words of Hashem and learning. That has an impact not just on them or their immediate family, but on the whole community and the whole city, even as is mentioned here in the Rashi for the first pasuk in the parasha of this week. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.